Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. There is a saying that goes, you get what you pay for. And so far, the deal is pretty rubbish. The taxpayers of Scotland are paying for a civil service that isn't really delivering on what it's supposed to do. And indeed, yesterday we did a video showing that it's actually actively working against the benefit of the people of Scotland. But now it gets slightly worse. These people want to do a 4-day week, and they're saying that they want the same money. Why should they effectively get a 20% increase in wages for doing no work whatsoever? Now they're going to claim that they can do the same output in 4 days as they can in 5, and so are entitled to the same amount of money. I would therefore say that they have not been working at their fullest capacity for however long it's been on 5 days, and that we need to claw back 1/5 of the money they've been paid thus far in their careers to make up for it. I'm sure neither of these things will actually happen, but the principle is there. They're either working to the best of their ability and earning their money on a 5-day week, or they're coasting along and are now capable of doing it on 4. You can't have it both ways. But we'll have a look at this argument and see why they want to do 4-day weeks, which I have no objection to in principle, but as long as the work is done. Of course, the trouble is, in a 5-day week, the work isn't being done. How's that going to help when they're only there 4 days? Anyway, we'll have a look at this, see what's going on. Here goes. So, Audit Scotland in talks over a 4-day working week for civil service bean counters. The PCS union, which is pushing for a 4-day week across the entire public sector, introduced the conversations with Audit Scotland bosses about giving staff another day off with no reduction in pay. And again, in principle, a 4-day week is fine if you have your Fridays off and you have a long weekend and you can do things. I don't object in principle. However, the argument is there, as I say, either they haven't been working to their fullest potential thus far, and so if they say they can do the work in 4 days, it means they could have done the work in 4 days before, which means they were massively overpaid. That needs to be clawed back. Or they should have a reduction in salary because they're only working 4 days. Can't have it both ways. Which is it? Have they been inefficient so far, or have they been, or are they rather prepared to work for the hours now and exchange hours for time off? Which is it? Which is it, people? Oh no, it's neither of those, is it? Anyway, Spending Watchdog Audit Scotland has begun initial conversations about how a 4-day week could be approached and researched. In response, public spending campaigners urged bosses to scrap plans to go part-time. In a Freedom of Information request, the independent body was asked if they had any internal meetings about the possibility of moving to a 4-day week. And the reply states, yes, we have begun initial early conversations about how this working practice could be approached and researched, and still at the early stages of these discussions, our PCS union introduced the conversations. Now again, if it goes forward, you're still going to need cover. So what you'd have to do is say half of them work Monday to Thursday, the other half work Tuesday to Friday, and that way the core time, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, everybody's in. Half are in Monday, half are in Friday, so at least you've got some cover on all days of the week. The Public and Commercial Services Union, the PCS, which is the UK's largest civil service trade union, commissioned what it called a scoping project with more than 2,000 Scottish Government workers in 2021, which, perhaps not surprisingly, found that 87% were in favour of a 4-day week. Wow, 87% of workers want to only work 4 days but earn the same wage. Now the other problem I say about this is they can't do the job they're doing in 5 days. What makes them think they're going to be able to work any more efficiently and catch up on the work that's left over in only 4? Now, unless those 4 days that they do work are longer days, that's a possibility. Because it would still be a net saving, even if you're doing like an extra hour a day, sort of meet halfway, do an extra hour a day, because you're not going to have the travel costs on that, say, Friday. And so, yeah, there is a benefit to it, but it must be, it must be a sort of a meeting in the middle, I think. Asked if they plan to implement a 4-day week for any staff, Audit Scotland said this will need to form part of our research and considerations. However, they said they hadn't held any meetings with the 4-day week campaign group or produced any briefing documents. The watchdog, headed by Auditor General for Scotland, Stephen Boyle, is responsible for auditing £57 billion of public spending in Scotland and 300 public sector accounts. And it looks, among other things, at performance of councils, which we know is dire, health boards, also dire, and key services from the SNP government down to parish councils. We don't need to say the word dire there, do we? On a Who We Are video in their website, Audit Scotland say we are committed to improving the use of public money. Oh good, does that mean they're actually going to do the jobs that they're being paid for? Because if so, that would be amazing and a complete turnaround on what people's expectations are. Because people don't expect much from them, do they? Elliot Keck, the head of campaigns of the Taxpayers Alliance, said Scottish taxpayers cannot afford for the public spending watchdog to go part-time. As we've seen elsewhere, the 4-day week experiment drives down outcomes in public sector. Audit Scotland should abandon these plans and cancel the clock off. It depends on how it's done. I'm certainly all for everyone, across the board doing a 4-day week. I think the work-life balance is too work, not enough, home life, family life, things like that. And I think more has to be done, And I propose longer working days, say 9 hours a day, 4 days a week. But with having that third day off, it gives more opportunity to do things, to encourage recreational matters, to have more family time, that sort of thing. That balance is more important. I think going forward with mental health, I don't object to a 4-day week. I think it's an excellent idea, but it must be for all. And that is the important thing. You can't have some on and some not. And of course, you've got to have cover for various things. So you shift the working week around to meet it. Obviously, people still have to work in, say, hospitals or, broadcast services and emergency services and things like that. Or indeed in retail. That's very important in the leisure industries. But of course, they'll still get their 3 days off, but at, a shifted week and things like that. So yeah, I mean, in principle, it's okay. But like I say, the target I've got here is, if they cannot do the job they're doing in a 5-day week, how can they possibly do it in a 4-day week? If they were up to date, then it needs to be discussed. But until they are up to date, it's a no starter, I think. It's a no from me. But once they're up to date, once there's no waiting list in hospitals, for example, yeah, why not? Why not limit it? That'd be fine. Anyway, I don't know what your view is. Do please tell me what your view are in the comments. If you are pro 4-day week or anti 4-day week, as I say, I'm actually for it for mental health reasons, and provided the work at all levels can be done, that's fine. But it must apply across the board. You can't have some industries on it and some not. Anyway, I shall round that and come up. Yeah, I think it's possibility. It's a possibility of a goer. And as I say in the piece there's some industries where it's going to be difficult, but I think it's doable. But I don't see why they should just drop hours for the same money. I think it's dishonest if they say that they can do the same output in the same time as they are now, but do it in a shorter time frame. But if you increase the hours per day, I'm happy with that. But it is an interesting thing. There is this whole movement across the board now. It's a big campaign to get this 4-day week up and running. And I literally, as I'm recording this, my wife came in and I said to her, would you do a 4-day week? She said, like a bloody shot. So yeah, I think it'd be a popular move. But they've got to sort their act out first. Anyway, I shall stop there. Nice, little breezy one to start the day. I like a little breezy one. Don't want to go in too heavy. But the next one's a bit more fun because we're going to have a little laugh at the SNP. But there is another sort of a heavier one after that, which we'll discuss, which relates to something I did yesterday. So if you haven't yet subscribed, now's the perfect time. You don't want to miss these next couple coming up. So ring that, press that subscribe button and ring the bell. Anyway, if you like this video, that'd be fantastic. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and remember, if you're offered it, take it. Trust me, it's fantastic. 4-day weeks. It's the future. Bye.